Join me as I dive into the history books and try to piece together exactly what happened in the Sibuyan Sea Battle. The Sibuyan Sea Battle was a pivotal naval engagement fought on October 23, 1944 during World War II. It was part of the larger Battle of Leyte Gulf, which was the largest naval battle in history in terms of the number of ships involved and the area covered. The Sibuyan Sea Battle is considered one of the most significant naval battles in World War II, and its importance in naval warfare history cannot be overstated. The American forces were faced with a daunting task to support the invasion of Leyte Island, which was a crucial step in the Philippines' liberation from Japanese occupation. The Japanese, on the other hand, were determined to defend their territory at all costs. The stakes were high, with the outcome of the battle potentially deciding the fate of the war in the Pacific. The Japanese fleet, led by Admiral Kurita Takeo, was a formidable force with 4 battleships, 6 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, and 11 destroyers at its disposal. The American forces, led by Admiral William Halsey Jr., had the daunting task of scouting out the Japanese fleet and preventing it from attacking the Allied invasion forces. This was no easy feat, as the Japanese fleet was massive and well hidden. The Americans had to rely on reconnaissance aircraft and submarine patrols to gather intelligence on the Japanese movements. The Japanese, meanwhile, were faced with the challenge of navigating through treacherous waters, avoiding Allied submarines and aircraft, and dealing with dwindling fuel supplies. The Japanese fleet was further complicated by the fact that it was divided into 3 groups, each with its own objective. The main force, led by Admiral Kurita, was tasked with attacking the Allied invasion forces, while the other 2 groups were to provide support and diversionary tactics. This division of forces made it difficult for the Japanese to coordinate their attacks, and it ultimately proved to be a decisive factor in the battle. The stage was set for a clash of epic proportions, with the 2 forces ready to engage in a battle that would decide the fate of the war in the Pacific. On the morning of October 23, 1944, the Japanese fleet emerged from the San Bernardino Strait and entered the Sibuyan Sea. The Americans were waiting, having detected the Japanese movement through reconnaissance aircraft and submarine patrols. The Japanese fleet was arrayed in a column formation, with the battleships and heavy cruisers leading the way, followed by the lighter vessels. As the Japanese fleet entered the Sibuyan Sea, it was immediately spotted by American aircraft. The Americans launched a series of air attacks, targeting the Japanese ships with bombs and torpedoes. The Japanese responded with anti-aircraft fire, but they were unable to deflect the American attacks. The American aircraft continued to pound the Japanese fleet, sinking or damaging several ships, including the battleship Musashi, which was one of the largest and most powerful warships in the world. The Japanese fleet was in disarray, with ships scattering in all directions to avoid the American attacks. Admiral Kurita was faced with the decision of whether to continue the attack or retreat to regroup and reassess. He decided to push on, despite the heavy losses, hoping to deal a decisive blow to the Allied invasion forces. As the Japanese fleet approached the Allied invasion forces, it was met with a hail of gunfire from the American warships. The Japanese responded in kind, but they were vastly outnumbered and outgunned. The American warships, led by the USS Iowa, launched a series of broadsides, disabling or sinking several Japanese ships. The Japanese fleet was in shambles, with many of its ships damaged or sunk. Admiral Kurita was forced to retreat, leaving behind several of his damaged vessels. The Americans had won a decisive victory, but at great cost. The battle had been intense, with both sides suffering heavy losses. The outcome of the Sibuyan Sea Battle was a crushing defeat for the Japanese, and it marked a turning point in the war in the Pacific. The Japanese Navy was never able to recover from the loss, and the Allies were able to secure a foothold in the Philippines. The battle was a testament to the bravery and sacrifice of the sailors and airmen who fought on both sides, and it will always be remembered as one of the most significant naval battles in history. In conclusion, the Sibuyan Sea Battle was a pivotal moment in World War II, and its impact on the Pacific Campaign was immense. It was a testament to the bravery and sacrifice of those who fought, and it will always be remembered as one of the most significant naval battles in history. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the Sibuyan Sea Battle in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about naval battles, be sure to check out my video on the Battle of Midway. It's a real game changer,